Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about Hellmaster. That's the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray release. That's the new artwork, which is okay, a little goofy. And then you have a picture of the old artwork with the reversible cover, as well, goofy but in a different way. So Hellmaster is a decent movie, pretty schlocky, starring John Saxon. Saxon, who you will recognize from other movies in the 80s and early 90s. This is a 1992 movie. It was also known as Them. It is newly scanned and restored in 4K, and it looks great. It's funny how movies that are not at the top of the Vinegar Syndrome list in terms of being excellent get some really great transfers. So there's also the theatrical cut and the director's cut. The director's cut is a new cut, I guess, by the director, and it is only in standard def, while the theatrical version is on here in the 4K restoration we had talked about a moment ago. It comes with an interview from cinematographer Michael Goy, conceptual artwork, behind the scenes stills, archival location featurette, reversible artwork, which I had shown you already, and English subtitles. The the plot of the story is on the back, and it's pretty sums it up pretty well. Decades ago, deranged Professor Jones, John Saxon, concocted a diabolical drug at a rural college called the Nietzsche experiment, designed to give its users telepathic abilities, but instead it turned anyone who took it into violent lunatics. 20 years later, Jones has returned to resume his experiments and avenge himself against those he feels has wronged him and his work. Armed with a group of hideously deformed mutant slaves, it's not long before the tranquil college life becomes host to vicious violence and carnage. A Detroit shot regional horror movie made at the decline of the direct to video era. It was the first feature from cult filmmaker Douglas Schulz and David Emge. It was originally titled Them, but was subsequently re-edited with new footage and a straight-to-video and cable release, and then renamed to Hellmaster. And that's about it. So this movie's not great, admittedly. It's a little bit of a mess. It's kind of confusing in some ways, and there's a philosophical undertone or overtone with John Saxon's character, God and the devil, whether God exists, and Nietzsche, the philosopher or whatever the hell he was. And that's about it. It's pretty much about him and his mutants in this college going after these students. One of the students is a psychic. One of them is kind of like a blonde. I think she's like a bimbo. I don't know if she has any abilities. And then one of them is a cripple. It sort of feels like uh, Freddy Krueger 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors a little bit, but not as good or as fun. And they're pretty much looking to stop John Saxon's character and these like demon slave guys who are all made up with like cuts on their faces and this weird symbol are going after the students. It's a decent sort of rental. I got it fairly cheap. I got it for less than half price of what it goes for. I wouldn't say it's worth the $20 or $25 asking price, but this reminds me of a kind of goofy, fun cable DVD horror movie that if you were at a Blockbuster on a Friday night and decided to watch something silly, Hellmaster checks most of those boxes. It's not at the top of my list at all for Vinegar Syndrome or cheesy horror, but you can do worse. It's all right. If you come across Hellmaster for a very cheap price, or if any of that sounds interesting to you, maybe give it a look, but it's not one of my highest recommendations. So let me know if you guys have seen Hellmaster, what you think of it. I thought it was decent. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe.